What happens when the Supreme Court hands the president what Justice Sotomayor warned was a loaded weapon? In Trump v. United States, the court ruled that a president has sweeping immunity in his core duties, even if crimes are committed in the process. That decision sent shockwaves through Washington. Suddenly, the question wasn't about policies or parties, but about whether the law itself could still protect democracy, and that's where Adam Schiff stepped in. His clash with Pam Bondi wasn't some routine political sparring match. It was a stark test of independence, truth, and whether anyone can still say no to the president when it matters most. Schiff opened with the heart of the matter.
By you sitting here, yes, sir.
And not a summary by the president either, right?
Absolutely.
So a summary by the president or his desire to investigate Jack Smith would not be enough for you to open an investigation of Jack Smith. Is that right?
I will look at the facts and evidence in any case. And sitting here
today,
Senator, 72% of Americans
I only have 7
lost
minutes.
faith in the Department of Justice.
Sitting here today, are you aware of any factual predicate to investigate Jack Smith? Sitting here today, yes or no?
Senator, I will look at the facts and the circumstances.
You can't answer that question.
Brought to me.
You're not a part of the department yet. There's no worry about divulging
I'm sitting
law
here as a
enforcement
nominee.
sensitive information. So just tell us,
I'm
are you
sitting here as
aware?
a nominee.
Just tell us, are you aware of a factual predicate to investigate Jack Smith? Yes or no?
Senator, what I'm hearing on the news
Are
is
you
horrible.
aware of a?
Do I know if he committed a crime? I have not looked
You seem reluctant to answer a simple question. Let me ask you a different simple question. The president also wants to jail Liz Cheney. Sitting here today, are you aware of any factual basis to investigate Liz Cheney? Yes or no?
Senator, that's a hypothetical, and I'm not going to answer that question.
No, it's not hypothetical. I'm asking you, sitting here today, whether you are aware of a factual predicate to investigate Liz Cheney.
Senator, no one
Based
has
on what
asked
you
me
know.
to investigate Liz Cheney. That is a hypothetical.
The president has called for it publicly. You are aware of that, aren't you?
No one has asked me to investigate.
But the president
Liz.
has
We're
called,
also worried about Liz Cheney,
the
Senator.
president has
You know what
called
we
for
should
this.
be worried about?
Ms. Bondi,
The
please
crime rate
answer
in
my
California
questions.
right now
You
is
are
through
aware,
the roof.
Ms. Bondi,
Your robberies are 87% higher than the national average.
My question is this.
That's what I want to be focused on, Senator.
Do you have the power to say no to the president?
General.
And what you're suggesting today by your non-answer is you don't have the independence to say no to the president. So let me ask you a different question. It also requires you, if you're going to be a good attorney general, to be able to tell hard truths to the president. So my questions now are, can you tell hard truths to the president? So let me start with an easy truth that you could speak to the president. Can you tell us, can you tell him that Donald Trump lost the 2020 election? Can you say that? Do you have the independence to say that? Do you have the gravitas, the stature, the intestinal fortitude to say, Donald Trump, you lost the 2020 election? Can you tell us that here today?
Senator, what I can tell you is I will never play politics. You're trying to engage me in a gotcha. I won't do it.
I'm just asking you a simple question.
Play
if you can speak truth
with any ongoing
to power.
investigation,
So let me ask you another.
like you did leaking your colleague Devin Nunes's memo.
If you can't answer the question, let me ask you a different, what should be a simple truth, not a hard one. Was there massive fraud affecting the result of the 2020 election, yes or no?
Senator, I'm glad you asked that question, if you'll let me answer what I saw in Pennsylvania.
No, I asked a simple question about massive fraud.
I can only tell you what I saw in Pennsylvania.
I know you want to answer a different question, but my question is, can you tell us whether there was massive fraud affecting the results of the 2020 election, yes or no? Was there or was there not?
I can tell you what I saw when I went as an
advocate to the campaign.
That's not my
question. So you can't answer that question. You can't speak that even easy truth to us, let alone to the president. So let me ask you a different question. It will also be important that you give good advice to the president. Are you prepared to advise the president not to pardon people who beat police officers?
Senator, as I said, the pardons are at the direction of the president. We will look and we will advise. I will look at every case on a case. Let me finish. On a case-by-case basis.
Okay, good.
And I abhor violence to police officers.
Follow up with that. So will it be your advice to the president, Mr. President? I know you said you want to issue hundreds of pardons on day one. Will it be your advice to the president? No, Mr. President, I need to go over them on a case-by-case basis. Do not issue blanket pardons. Will that be your advice to the president?
Senator, I have not looked at any of those files. If confirmed, I will look at the files
And
for
will
the
you be able to
pardons, as well
will
as
you
the
be able to
ongoing
review
investigation.
hundreds of cases on day one?
I will look at every file I am
Of course
asked
you
to
won't.
look
So
at.
will you advise the
Hey,
president?
can I
will
answer
you-
the question?
Well, my question
I would
is-
have plenty of staff. You said, of course you want.
You'll be able to review
Listen, I'm
hundreds
not
of
going to
cases on the first day?
mislead this body nor you.
All right, let me ask another question. You don't want to answer that. Let me ask
You were
another question.
censured by
It will
Congress, Senator,
also-
for
it will
comments just
also-
like this that
it
are
will
so reckless.
It will also be important for you to be able to preserve the records, the evidence of the department. Are you ready to commit that none of the evidence in the January 6th investigation will be destroyed under your watch?
Senator, I will follow the law. I will consult with ethical officials in the
Do you
department.
see any ethical basis to destroy evidence in the January 6th investigation? Then why can't you answer the question? Why can't you say, I commit to this committee, we will never destroy the evidence in the January 6th investigation? Why can't you give this committee and the American people that assurance?
Are you frightened because evidence was destroyed against President Trump that was false? Is that why you're
Why do
frightened
you
now?
have
I can't believe this is even.
Why do you have difficulty answering that question?
I can't believe
Why do you
you're
have
asking such a
difficulty?
question.
Why do you have difficulty promising to preserve evidence at the Department of Justice? Why is that a difficult question?
I will follow the law.
It shouldn't be a difficult question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Bondi, I know that you are pleased that we are moving to the end of round one, and we appreciate your being here.
If the president now has immunity to use the Justice Department however he wants, then the Attorney General becomes the last line of defense. He pressed Bondi directly. Do you have the independence to tell the president no? Bondi tried to downplay the urgency, but Schiff wasn't letting the moment slip. To him, this wasn't a hypothetical. It was about survival of checks and balances in real time. The first test came with the name at the center of Trump's fury, Special Counsel Jack Smith. Trump has said Smith should go to jail. Schiff asked Bondi the obvious, would she launch an investigation just because the president demanded it? Bondi ducked behind lawyerly caution, insisting she couldn't make commitments without reviewing a file. Schiff pressed harder. Was she aware of any evidence, any factual predicate, that justified an investigation? Bondi refused to give a clear yes or no. The exchange revealed more than Bondi likely intended. Even before stepping into the role, she couldn't bring herself to state the plain truth, that there was no evidence to justify Trump's vendetta. Schiff's point was clear. If she couldn't resist Trump on something this flimsy, what would stop her from bending on bigger issues? But Schiff wasn't finished. He moved to Liz Cheney, another target of Trump's anger. He asked Bondi directly if she knew of any reason to investigate Cheney. Instead of answering, she pivoted to crime statistics, a classic misdirection. Schiff cut through it immediately. The issue wasn't crime rates, it was independence. Could she resist pressure from Trump when he demanded retribution against his critics? Again, no straight answer. Schiff's larger message rang loud. This wasn't about Cheney. It was about whether truth still stood a chance against loyalty. And then came the simplest truth of all. Schiff asked her to say what the entire world knows, that Donald Trump lost the 2020 election. Could she look into the camera, look at the Senate, and simply admit it? Bondi danced around the question, falling back on anecdotes from Pennsylvania, instead of answering yes or no. Schiff's frustration was palpable. If she couldn't acknowledge the reality of the election, how could she be trusted to defend democracy against the lies that continue to poison it? It wasn't just about one answer, it was about whether an attorney general could break from Trump's alternate reality. The confrontation then shifted to one of the most dangerous weapons of the presidency, the pardon power. Schiff asked if Bondi would advise against Trump issuing blanket pardons, particularly for those who attacked police officers on January 6. Bondi hedged again, saying she would review cases one by one. It sounded responsible on the surface, but Schiff highlighted the evasion. Trump has dangled pardons as political favors before. Would she stop him from doing it again? Bondi's refusal to give a clear warning against blanket pardons sent a chilling message. When loyalty to Trump collides with accountability, loyalty wins. But Schiff saved one of the most critical questions for last. Would Bondi commit to preserving all evidence from the January 6th investigation? It should have been the easiest answer of the day. A simple yes. Instead, Bondi stuck to vague promises to follow the law, and consult with ethical officials. Schiff pressed, why not guarantee that crucial evidence wouldn't be destroyed? Why hesitate unless protecting Trump mattered more than protecting the truth? The exchange wasn't just procedural, it was about whether the history of January 6th would be preserved for the American people or buried to protect those in power. Schiff made it clear without ironclad protection of that evidence, the investigation itself could become just another casualty of political loyalty. By the end of the hearing, the contrast couldn't have been sharper. On one side, Schiff demanding clarity, accountability, and truth. On the other, Bondi evading, dodging and circling back to Trump's talking points. It was a textbook display of what happens when loyalty collides with law. Schiff's questions weren't just about Jack Smith, Liz Cheney, or even January 6th. They were about the survival of democracy in a system where the president can now act with near-total immunity. His warning echoed long after the gavel fell. If the Attorney General can't say no to the president, then who will? And that's the question that should keep every American awake at night. So what do you think? Should an Attorney General be forced to choose between loyalty and the law? Or should independence always come first? Drop your thoughts below. I want to hear what you think. And if you found this breakdown eye-opening, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. The next story is even more controversial, and you won't want to miss it.